In today's session, we are looking at the foremost of the virtues in career and business. The notable of the virtues in career and business. One of the most important virtues, one of the most important spirits, one of the most important values that if anybody must dominate in their career and in their business, they must make sure that this virtue of living this kind of lifestyle is a critical part of what they do. This virtue is so powerful and so deep and so practical and so relevant that it has been recognized after doing proper research in the lives of successful people, and it was discovered that it is a foremost virtue. These people were able to rise to the top. These people were able to disrupt their industries. These people were able to stand out. These people were able to contribute to the advancement of humanity because they became or are so good in making good use of this virtue. They are so good when it comes to building this virtue in them in their career journey that makes them stand out. This is the virtue of courage. And not just courage as we know as an English word, but we are going to look at this virtue from the practical application in career and in business, and with the intentions of experiencing dominance when you practice it. And my desire is that, or one of my goals, that after this session, some people will experience a lift in their careers, in their businesses, in the next 2 months, 6 months, even 1 year, as a result of deciding to apply this virtue in the work that they do. It is critical to understand that the ability to make decisions and act boldly in the face of setbacks and adversity is the key to greatness in business leadership or career dominance. If you have developed that ability, or you are presently on a journey to training yourself to develop that ability where you can make decisions, and not only make decisions, but you act boldly, consistently in the face of setbacks and adversity, this begins to engineer you towards greatness in leadership. And this only manifests, this only happens to you when you have embodied this particular virtue of courage and you make good use of it in your journey. There are many people that are average performers. There are many people that produce average results, mediocre results, not because their potential is average, no, not because they have been created to be average, no, it is because they lack the ability to make good use of this virtue of courage in their career and in their business. For example, there are some of you right now, you are operating in a small town, you are living in a small quarter in a small town, and you are afraid to be courageous enough to relocate to a bigger city, and why not even to another country where you can dominate more faster, where you have access to more results, or even when you have access to the kind of people that your purpose can serve, your skills can serve, your competence can serve. But because you don't have this virtue of courage to rise from that place and go to the place where you can dominate, you are now forced to perform below average. Or some of you are hanging out around some friends that they are not adding value to your life. and you don't have the courage to break away and step away and move away and form and take a new path to dominance, you're afraid to make that particular move. That's why Winston Churchill once said, courage is rightly considered the foremost of all virtues, for upon it all others depend. What does that mean? It means that courage is so powerful and a well-respected virtue that upon it all other virtues depend. The virtue of hard work depends on courage. The virtue of consistency depends on courage. The virtue of taking action depends on a courageous spirit. There are people, you have the virtues of learning. You have the virtues of starting things. You have the virtues of being consistent. You have the virtues of listening. You have the virtues of speaking boldly, but you lack the virtue of courage to take your life to the next level. Therefore, business leaders and those who thrive in their careers have the courage to make decisions and to take actions in the face of doubt and uncertainty with no guarantee of success. Now, this is what separates those who are going to dominate and those who will remain stagnant or average performers. Those who have the courage to act with no guarantee of success. That is what separates the big boys from younger boys or smaller boys or from small boys. Those who have the courage, you have this incredible, massive courage to act boldly with no guarantee of success. You just have the slight information that there is a possibility. But you look at yourself and say, look, I have been here for the last 2 years. I have been living this kind of lifestyle for 2 years. I have been thinking like this for 2 years. I have been doing this kind of things for 2 years. I have not handled any tangible result, but there is a place ahead. I am not sure whether I am going to make it, but you know what? I will take that action with no guarantee of success. You have been in your little town for 2-3 years. For the last 5 years, I've been in the same little town. You have been doing 1 or 2 things and all of that. You have not handled significant results. You have not been able to advance your career and business to another dimension in any particular way. But you know that what? You know what? I want to move to Lagos. I want to move to Douala. I want to move to Yaoundé. I want to move to a bigger town. I want to move to a bigger nation. You know, I am not certain whether I'm going to make it or not. But you know what? I know that where I've been in the last 3 years, I have not been producing incredible results. But I am going to develop the courage to move ahead and make this bold step. Whether there's guarantee to succeed or not, but the point is, I am going to be courageous enough to take that particular step. It could be that you have been working for 10 years, 5 years, but you know that your ultimate purpose in life, your ultimate mission in life is to start and run your own institution. But you don't have all the guarantees for success. You have done all the business analysis and business planning. You don't have all the guarantee that you're going to succeed. But you say, okay, you know what? I know there is no guarantee for success. I have put all the things that I put in place. I have done all the analysis. I have tried to raise some money the best way I can. But you know what? If I keep waiting for the perfect time, it will never come. So I'm going to take that courageous step with no guarantee of success. Remember, business leaders or people in career who will thrive, they have the courage to make decisions and to take actions in the face of doubt and uncertainty. That is what sets people apart. In the face of doubt and uncertainty. And most importantly, you take one of your most important decisions in your life with no guarantee of success, but you decide to make that particular move. That is what will give you dominance in your industry and in your sector. Therefore, your ability to launch and to step out in faith, even when there is a chance of failure, is the mark of business and career leadership. Hear that again. Your ability to launch, your ability to step out in faith, even when there is a chance of failure, is the mark of business dominance and career leadership. Hear this. Leadership in your career and in your business is not the lack of fear. It's not the absence of fear. Leadership is control of fear and mastery of fear. That is leadership. You cannot tell me you're a leader when all your actions are driven by fear. No, no, no. You are not a leader. You are still training yourself to become a youth leader in your church. You can say that. But here is somebody. The ability to launch, to step out in faith. Look at that, your business. Look at that, your career. What is that thing that you have been keeping? Look at where you work. What is that thing that you have been keeping aside that if you do, it can advance where you work to another level? If you step out in courage and talk and suggest, you can think about it. But in all, remember that your ability to launch, to step out in faith, even when there is a chance of failure, is the mark of leadership. Leadership is not the lack of fear or the absence of fear. Leadership is the control of fear. Now, what does this mean? It means that, yes, there is an action to take, but you also need to do research. You also need to make sure you analyze. You also need to make sure you have looked at all alternatives. Don't just allow general fear to control you. No, step out and do the necessary things you have to do. Carry out the necessary research, have all the information, and even all the information prove that, look, this is not possible. And you know that as a business person, as an executive, as a senior manager in that place, you know that if you launch into this initiative, if it succeeds, it's going to take the business to another level. You decide to set out. Remember, leadership is not lack of fear or the absence of fear. Leadership is your ability to control fear and your ability to master your emotions of fear and still launch out until you get what you want. And remember, in every industry, in every society, even in your family, even in your workplace right now, everyone is afraid. Everyone is afraid. But only a leader like you, only leaders have the ability to face their fears and take action in spite of their fears. You are in a place where everybody is afraid. You're in a place where everybody's running and entering their shells. You're in a place where everybody quickly enters their comfort zone. But you have this mentality. You have developed this foremost of the virtues in career and business. And you stand and you face your fears. And you take actions in spite of the fears. And you develop the habit of courage by acting courageously whenever courage is called for. Let me tell us something. We'll always find ourselves in a place where courage will be required. And only people who decide to act courageously in the face of courage or when a courageous person is required, only those kind of people will dominate. It could be as low as trusting somebody to work in a vision. Just trusting, so that's courage. It takes courage. It takes courage to trust somebody, to work with somebody, to build a vision from ground up to go places. We say, okay, you know what? Every other person is afraid. Every other person is looking at money, how much you're going to pay me, pay him or her. But you see me, I'm going to look at beyond that. I'm going to be courageous enough to build this to go forward. I always say something, one of my staff, my manager, Emma, Immaculate, I say she's very courageous because when she came to work with me, there were no signs of greatness at all. They were not, it takes courage to start work in that kind of condition, right? To start work in that kind, it takes a lot of courage. But that's what a leader does. In spite of the fear, in spite of the uncertainties, in spite of the possibilities of growth not happening, the people that get to stand out, the people that get to build and contribute in a relevant dimension are the people that have the courage to act whenever courage is called for. Your business is failing, all you have built in your life is dying out, you feel like you're losing everything. All right, that is fine, that's life happening. But the people that get to stand out back and build a name for themselves in the long run are the people that have lost everything. Things have crumbled. People have messed up. They have lost opportunities. But in spite of losing all of this, they still have the courage to show up. They still have the courage to rise up. They still have the courage to act whenever courage is required. That is how you dominate in career and business. And that is why courage is explained as the foremost of all virtues in career and business. Here is somebody. The natural reaction of mediocre people, the natural reaction of people who live below average and below their potential, their natural reaction is to avoid, is to back away, is to run away when things don't go the way they expect. The natural reaction of many people is to think of committing suicide when things are going the way they want, is to think of giving up, is to think of crying and speaking anyhow. That's not what majority of humans will do. When small things happen to them, like most of the people, something happen to them, they go like on Facebook and they start posting of how life is hard, life is difficult on their status. I'm talking, oh, life is this, oh, I don't want to live again, I don't want to do this. That's what majority of many people, that's why I get celebrated all of that, doing suicide notes and writing funny things and all of that, and looking for who to pity them and all of that kind of stuff. That's why there's a call for real leaders to rise up. We need real leaders in career and business to rise up. Leaders that eat problems for breakfast. Leaders that, despite that everything is going down, you rise up in courage with the mindset to rebuild. Not ranting up and down. That's what natural majority, low average, low thinking, people have not built themselves. That's what majority of them will do. But hear this. This is what courageous people do. This is what peak performers do. They are forced to move forward towards their fear. They rise and they move forward towards their fear, their challenges. Okay, this has happened. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing I can do to change the situation. The only thing I can do right now is to pick up the pieces and rebuild forward. Okay, I have lost this. There's nothing I can do to recover it. What can I do to start rebuilding? What can I do to start creating the right structures and get to where I desire to be? That is what leaders do in career and in the face of business challenges. But when you force yourself to resist the natural tendency to do the opposite, when you force yourself to refuse to give up, when you force yourself to refuse to complain, when you force yourself to refuse to allow your emotions to take charge of you when you're in the face of back and difficulties, you force yourself to move towards that thing that you fear. Your fear begins to die out. Your fears begin to shrink. That the losses that you have been seeing, you begin to have power over the losses, not allowing the losses to have power over you. There are many people that when they lose money, when they lose business deals, when they lose opportunities, when they lose whatever is around them, they allow the losses to have power over them. And that's why they lose the biggest gift in their life, which is the gift of creativity, the gift of clarity, the gift of thinking, the gift of rebuilding, the gift of focusing on how they can take their life forward. Then they miss out on that. And then tomorrow, after a few years, they start seeing that, you know what, the decision I made to give up did not serve me. The decision I made to just be an average person because I faced a challenge did not serve me. They start regretting, oh, I wish I did not give up. I wish I act in the right direction. I wish I was courageous enough to rise up to my fears and challenges. They start wishing and wishing. Meanwhile, those who refuse to submit to challenges and submit to losses and fears, they rise up to the top. They begin to look at them as if those people were made for a special time. No, everybody was made for a time like this. But until you decide to start rising and doing what is right, you will lose a lot in your career and business. And you will never, ever have the chance of dominating and leaving a legacy and leaving a name in your industry that someday they'll look back and say, oh, there was a woman who lived in this industry and disrupted the industry with courage, called Rita. There was a man called Joshua who disrupted the agricultural sector despite the fears he went through, but he disrupted the sector. Oh, there was a gentleman called Waters who said, you know what, life is hard. We know. We live in a difficult continent. We know. Our country is not good leadership. We know. But you know what? I know all of this. But despite all of this, I'm going to disrupt, I'm going to rise, and I'm going to do the unthinkable. As I always say, if you're going to fail, fail on your own terms. Fail and look life eyeball to eyeball. Say, life, look, I failed, right? But I failed on my own terms. I failed while waking up every night to become better. I failed while trying. I failed while taking a step. I failed in the midst of courage. I did not fail in the midst of fear. I did not allow my emotions to control me. I failed, yes, I know I failed, but you know what? I failed on my own terms. But trust me, I have never seen a human being who has failed on their own terms. I have only seen people that they make up their mind in this direction. They choose courage, they choose action, they choose initiative, they choose dominance, they choose the mentality of growth, they choose the mentality of an eagle, and they always end up winning because the law of cause and effect will always act in your favor. That's why Glenn Ford in Act 1 said, if you do not do the things you fear, then fear controls your life. If you do not act when you're going through your most difficult challenges, then challenges control your life. If you lose money, you lose millions, and you allow the losing of those millions to control how you do business, then you're being controlled by losses. You're not being controlled by your vision. You're not being controlled by your purpose. You're not being controlled by your goals. You are not being controlled by the deep personality and potentials that God bestowed upon you. That is why the two greatest obstacles to success and personal effectiveness, the two greatest obstacles to career rising and business dominance, are the fear of failure and the fear of criticism. There are many of you that you are still stuck in one position. You are still stuck in that particular place year in, year out, because you are afraid of failing. You are afraid of what people will say. These two things are killing many careers and many businesses. But hear this, every great success is preceded by many failures and accompanied by countless criticisms. Every great success is preceded by many failures and accompanied by countless criticisms. Show me a man who has risen to the top, and I will show you a man who acted courageously in the midst of failure and in the midst of people telling him or her, it is not possible. You cannot make it happen. You cannot make it happen in Cameroon. You cannot make it happen from Congo. You cannot make it happen from Bamenda, or you cannot make it happen from your village. You cannot make it happen from here and here and here. But that is a man that, despite all the negative opinions, despite all the facts that prove that he or she will be a failure, They rose up to those challenges with courage and consistency. The founder of IBM once said, if you want to be successful faster, you must double your rate of failure. If you want to be successful faster, you must double your rate of failure. Success lies on the far side of failure. Show me people that have failed several times. I will show you somebody who has the experience and what it takes to succeed anytime. But show me somebody who is afraid to take that next step because of failure. I will show you somebody who is stuck, who is stagnant, who is regressing, and who will never achieve incredible things in life. That is why courage remains the foremost of the virtues in career and business. Therefore, make it a habit from today to confront your fears. Look at your career, look at your business. What is that fear that has been holding you back? If there is anything in your life that causes you anxiety, treat it as a personal challenge and resolve to deal with it. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. As I always say, the antidote for fear is faith and action. Do you want to keep fear in your life? Do you want to reduce fear in your life? Be the person who acts in faith. You always subdue the spirit of fear. You always subdue the emotions of fear. The leader in any group or organization, in any business, is the person who accepts the responsibility to turn and face whatever danger or threat is facing the group. In other words, entrepreneurs, hear this. If you run a business, hear this. If you want to start a business, you're a senior executive in a company, you're a senior manager in any business, hear this. The leader of any business, the leader of any department is the person who accepts the responsibility to turn and face whatever danger and threat is facing the business. What does that mean? There are many startup entrepreneurs that they have allowed very beautiful business ideas to die out because in the midst of building, maybe in their first 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and all of that, they have faced a couple of challenges, little mistakes, and maybe they have lost what they've been trying to build. Their little savings they have had is gone and all of that. The immediate thing they start doing is start thinking of running back, running away, giving up, disappearing. Now, that is not a leader. You are not an entrepreneurial leader. You are not an entrepreneur at that level yet. An entrepreneur so much loves their vision, they are willing to die for it. I always say that somebody who commits suicide, you wasted a life. You wasted a destiny. Use that and die for something that makes sense. Don't go and die because there was a problem. You're wasting your life in that direction. Die for a vision. Die in the battlefield. Die doing business. Die because you are trying to build an incredible company. That's a good death. That's a death that makes sense. Don't go and take your life because you felt there was a challenge, there was a problem, or something happened and you felt like, oh, you know what? The only way is to, this life is not for you. Maybe that's not good now. You have wasted destiny for nothing. But the sign of business leadership, the sign of organizational leadership, the sign of executive leadership is the ability of the person in charge to accept the responsibility to turn whatever danger or fear into opportunities, is to turn and face any danger that arises. Oh, you know what? I am building this business. Oh, thieves came and stole 1 million, 2 million. Okay, you know what? That has happened. What can we learn from this? How can we prevent this from happening again? And you face the business head on. You don't go and close the business and rush back home because some thieves came and stole a few francs from you. Did they steal you? No. Did they steal your brain? No. Did they steal your idea? No. Did they steal your energy? No. Did they steal your vision? No. Did they steal your ability to create? No. You have the ability to remake whatever they stole. That is the good news for you. As I always say, like you steal all I have. You have my brain, have my eyes, have my hands, I will rebuild it better and bigger. Just give me time. Just give me time. If you still have all of this, you can always rebuild it. And remember, audacity, audacity, and always audacity. If you desire business dominance, you desire career dominance, you must know that in the face of danger, in the face of threats, in the face of losses, in the face of challenges, in the face where everything you have had in life is gone, it is audacity, audacity, and always audacity. Audacity is often the best policy when decisions are demanded and actions is necessary. Audacity may get you into trouble on occasions, but then even more audacity will get you out of trouble. Oh yeah. You can take audacious actions and you make mistakes. It gets you into trouble, but you will need more audacity. You will need more courage to get out of that mistake. You cannot get yourself into a problem and shrink back. You allow fear, losses, and regret keep you in that particular mess up. No, you need more audacity to get out of that particular mess up. When faced with two dangers, one behind you and one in front of you, it is always better to go ahead. This is a Zulu proverb. When faced with two dangers, danger behind you, danger in front of you, it is always better to face the danger in front of you, not the one behind you. You're in business. Your last decision made you to lose millions. That's danger. In front of you is uncertainty. You don't know whether you're going to have clients or not. That is danger. What do? Go forward. Choose the danger in front, not the danger behind. Right? Or let's take example, maybe for better understanding, like a lady. Your previous boyfriend was, how do you call that again? Domestically beating you, right? Violence, right? That's danger behind you. And maybe you decided, you know what, I'm moving on. And then there's one guy chatting you. And you're like, wait with this guy. I feel trust him. Should I try? Maybe you say, you know what? Let me move forward and try the new guy. The danger behind me, I'm not going back. Right? Always choose the danger ahead. That's what business is saying. This is more realistic in business. Business, when you're between two dangers, the best scenario is to choose the danger ahead. Like, for example, you have resigned from work to start a business. Life is difficult. Money is not coming as expected consistently. Resignation is danger behind. You are thinking of going to back so that they should have you back as an employee. And you're thinking, okay, should I continue with this startup? Do I have the possibility of succeeding in life? That's another danger in front. So you have to choose the danger of the front, right? Choose the front of the danger, leave the front of the behind. Okay, that's the concept. Because life is all about moving forward. It's all about advancing forward. In your most difficult circumstance, how do you move forward in the midst of danger? Therefore, resolve today to move out of your comfort zone. Resolve today to do whatever it takes to leave your comfort zone. Great business success comes from taking risks. Great career successes come from taking risks. It comes from going boldly when no one has ever gone before. Yes, great business success comes from venturing into uncharted territories. It comes from venturing into a path that nobody in your family has ever gone to walk that path. It comes from looking at our industry and trying something new, something that another competitor has never done before. That is where great business success comes from. It comes from taking risks. It comes from boldly walking the path nobody has ever walked. It comes from courageously taking the route that nobody has ever taken before. And that is why in business, that is why in career, it is always recommended that professionals and entrepreneurs should set what is called BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. It's popularly called BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals for yourself and for your organization or for your business. Never be satisfied with the status quo. Now, what is a BHAG? One sign of a courageous business person, one sign of a professional is that they have what they call a BHAG. A BHAG is your most audacious goal. It's a goal that you have set maybe at the age of 80, at the age of 90, at the age of 70. This is your biggest goal. Like, yeah, for example, an entrepreneur can say, okay, my big, audacious, hairy goal is that by 2070, my company should be in 70 countries and recruiting 300,000 employees and maybe providing $50 million in annual investments of funding to non-profit organizations who help orphans and street kids, whatever. But it's a big, audacious goal, very big, but it's realistic too. And it takes a long term to achieve that kind of goal. It's the same like a professional. Your dream is that, okay, maybe you work for a company and your dream is that in 10 years, in 20 years, in that industry, the company where you work for, or you're the manager right now, that company will be among the top 5 largest companies in Africa. That could be a big, audacious goal. Your big, audacious goal is that maybe you are you're a lawyer, you're in the legal industry. Your big, audacious goal is that you want to end up in the International Court of Justice. It could be that. But you need, if there's one thing that drives me, like for example, I have my big, audacious, hairy goal. I have a big, hairy, audacious goal. And that's why some things, when you have a big, hairy, audacious goal, there are some small things happening around you. Don't longer cry about it. Just smile over there. So this one, I know where I'm going to. There are bigger things that are still going to happen. Right? So you use that like training. When a challenge happens to me, I use that training. I know where I'm going to. I need my heart to be bigger than this. So you're permitted to happen. Train me for what is going to happen tomorrow. It is the effect of a big, hairy, audacious goal. It is often said, and is a fact, that business executives, entrepreneurs who have risen to the topmost top in every industry, they had a very big, hairy, audacious goal for their company and for the industry. Like Elon Musk, his big, hairy, audacious goal is that he wants an average American to pay flights to space. That's his goal. Like Steve Jobs, his big, hairy, audacious goal was that he wants every American to have a digital device in their hands. What is yours? There are many young guys I know. I have many friends that I know. One of my friends, his big, audacious, hairy goal is that he wants to become the Secretary General of the United Nations someday. And he's walking that path gradually. That is his own big, hairy, audacious goal. The question for you is, what is your BHAG? Let's write in the chat box. It must not be perfect right now, but I want to write in the chat box, share with me what's their big, hairy, audacious goal. I'll give you examples. Now write in the chat box. You can write it, what's coming to your mind right now, you can go perfect it later, but have a well-written BHAG that if somebody wakes you up from sleep, you can tell them, look, this is my life goal. This is my one life goal. This is it. At the age of 70, I want to look back and smile and say, you know what? I have achieved my BHAG. Or even if I have not achieved, I have laid the foundation for my generation to come and continue. That's why there are some fathers that they died in peace. They may have died not achieving their very big, hairy, audacious goals, but they have laid a foundation and they have raised sons. They have raised sons and daughters that will stand on their shoulders, will stand on the foundation they have laid and achieve their big, hairy, audacious goal. Okay, Kanasa says to work with Citibank someday. Okay, good. Yes, who else? Let's write. I'm waiting in the chat box. What is your BHAG? To be the biggest telephone dealer in Africa by 2050. Excellent. Good. To be able to fully cover and broadcast FIFA. I love this one. Now, this is a real BHAG. Excellent. Beautiful. Good. This audacious, very audacious. Yes, I'm waiting. I know it's the first time people are hearing about this, which is good. That's why you're in PPA, right? My BHAG is to relocate to Ghana for career by 2024. All right, good, good, powerful, very possible. Very possible. Very possible. Let's go, let's go, let's go. People are thinking seriously. Work as a researcher on communicable diseases at the Africa Center for Disease Control. Excellent. When do you want to do this? Put a date. That's what makes a BHAG. Put a date. When? Which year do you want to make this happen? Put a date. Put a date. Diallo, put a date. I'm waiting for a date. 2027. Yes. Yes, guys, go on. Go. Are people afraid to write? Good, good. Build a morally upright youth by 2020. How many of them? Put a number. Put a number down out. How many of them? To be the best financial consultant in the whole of Africa 2040. Yes. And which kind of people do you want to consult? Now, to make it a real BHAG, you can say, okay, you know what? You want that the top 10 billionaires in Africa, according to Forbes, that are your clients, they consult, you are their consultant that makes them wealthy. Now that's a BHAG. To own the most amazing tech company in the country by 2030. Okay, good. What kind of things do you want to build, right? What kind of things do you want to challenge? What kind of disruption do you want to bring? Which industry? Good. Last two people. Some others are still thinking seriously or they are afraid to share. Yeah, BHAG to scare you, but it's possible. Control the agricultural sector in 3 regions in Cameroon by 2020. Which day do you want to put like that? Okay, build a brand. Okay, more coming right now. Build a branch of my company in 3 continents. Okay, build branches of my company in 3 continents by 2035. Okay, which are these continents are you looking at? Asia, Middle East, America. Become an influencer, especially in Christianity and success growth by 20. What kind of influencer? I mean, in what terms? In what qualitative way? What does that mean? Become a global trainer, consultant, and business guru by 2030. Yeah, that's good, but it's not a BHAG. Now, what makes a global consultant? What do you want to achieve that will make you a global trainer? What kind of business do you want to run to become a business guru? What will that business be doing? To be the biggest movie maker by 2027. Okay, now make it more specific. Do you want your movie to win an Oscars? Do you want your movie to win Africa Movie of the Year? Whatever. That's what makes the BHAG. All right, that's good. So be very specific like this. These numbers put deadlines, but it should be huge, but possible at the same time. That when you read, you look at it, it challenges you and stretches you forward. All right, people, excellent. Keep that coming. Write that for yourself. Put it somewhere. Let it be part of your DNA and make use of it. That's why Peter F. Drucker once said that whenever you see a great business success, someone once took a big chance. Write that down. Whenever you see a great business success, someone once took a big chance. This is very true. Very true. You see the Dangotes, the Tony Elumelos, the Funkams in Cameroon, the Focus and all these people, the Microsoft, the Bill Gates, the Mark Zuckerberg. Whenever you see a great big business, know that someone took a very big risk. Someone wrote down a very big, audacious goal and took a chance. They did not write it and sit on it. No, they courageously rose up to that particular idea that they put down. Therefore, the mark of a great leader, however, is that the leader never allows himself the luxury of discouragement and self-pity. If you have ever felt that, write it down. The mark of a great business leader, the mark of somebody who will thrive in career, is that leader that never allows himself or herself the luxury of discouragement or self-pity. There are some people that they like a lot of self-pity, or they like people to pity them. Oh, because this happened to you, we now should gather and cry with you, Abby. But a real leader doesn't look at that. Because, oh no, it's okay, I know it has happened, it's fine. How can we build forward? That's what I'm looking at right now. Forget about it. It has happened. It's cool. I'm okay with it. It's annoying inside my heart. How can we build forward? That is it. The mark of a great business leader, the mark of an entrepreneur that will go places, is that entrepreneur that would never allow the luxury of discouragement or self-pity to steal their vision from them, to steal their goal from them, to steal their mission from them, to steal that beautiful idea that God has laid in their heart. The leader that does not complain, make excuses, or wish that some things could have been easier or different, that is the leader that will dominate. If you're a business leader who doesn't complain, you don't make excuses, you don't look for self-pity, you don't wish that things were easier, you don't wish that life was easy, that is the leader that will dominate. And when you operate from this realm, it's always as if you're above life. Even some people look at you as if you're not always having problems. Because you live above problems. In short, you stress problems. You are a problem to problem. It takes the virtue of courage to live life in a way that you're a problem to problem. And even sometimes I think the devil avoids, or whoever avoids bringing problems, because it will not move you. You're focused on positivity. You're focused on building ahead. You're focused on rebuilding, or you're focused on advancing the mission forward. That is your focus. So you need to keep reminding yourself that failure is merely an opportunity to intelligently begin again. Failure is merely an opportunity to intelligently begin again. If you have failed, if you are going through challenges right now, if you're going through pain right now because you have lost some money, because your business is not doing the way it is, or because your business is failing, look at it as an opportunity to begin more intelligently again and build it better. I always say something very funny. Under God's grace, under God's direction, I always say it's very funny. And under God's anointing, right? If Cause Death Group pulls down today, I'll come back and sleep in peace and start rebuilding tomorrow. And nothing will ache me, nothing. I wake up, I go to the office right now, they say, oh, no, fire burned later than burnt it down. The staffs are fine, I am fine, my brain is okay. I will start rebuilding it with my laptop, with the internet. I will start rebuilding it that same morning. And give me 6 months. You see something better and more intelligent. One sad thing about successful or old systems is that you find it difficult to upgrade and build it better because it's there. And you need to push harder to build it better. So when you have gone through losses, that's what I always say, the most important asset when you're going through pain and losses and difficulties is your sanity, is your clarity. If you have not lost your mind, you have not lost your clarity, you have not lost your thinking in the midst of your most difficult losses and challenges, you will build it better and become more successful than who you were 2 years ago. When you have this kind of mindset there, you are bigger than life, you're bigger than problems, you're bigger than challenges. And you even always prepare for a lot of things. You always anticipate what may or may not happen because you are that courageous to face life in that particular direction. Failure is merely an opportunity to intelligently begin over again and build something better. Resolve today to develop the habit of courage. Business people, entrepreneurs, career professionals, executives, managers, supervisors, whatever you're doing, resolve today to develop the habit of courage by behaving courageously, by doing the things you fear, and by dealing boldly and straightforwardly with the difficult people and situations in your life. If you talk to many of my mentees that ever reported to me the challenges they're going through, they will tell you the reaction I always give them. I never give them the reaction of pity. Now, where, Ashia, oh, where, oh, this, where, no. I tell them the way forward. Build forward. They can tell you here. I think the last set of who saying what they were going through, I think Brenda, who rain pushed her farm away. It's cold. It has happened, right? It has happened. Now, how do we build forward? How do we make sure that doesn't? That was the question I asked her. I was happy that she gave me a plan already. Okay, next year I am going to do like this so that before the rain starts falling heavy, I have already made my profit. That was good. That is how to live the life of courage. The other day was Elvis. Thieves came and took his bag, his driver license, everything was inside. Okay, it has happened, right? Let's focus forward. I need to be strong right now. I need you to have clarity. I need you to focus on doing what you can do and get it done. That's how you build forward. That's how a courageous man rises to the top. I will never join you to, and if I'm trying to, I'm not kind of person, I'm trying to talk to you that, okay, let's focus on forward. Yeah, only being better. I will just keep it quiet. I will just ignore your messages. When you are ready to think and focus on rebuilding, let's talk. Avoid being the person that, you want to gather the whole family and they join you and cry because you have gone through this problem. It doesn't help you. It doesn't take you forward. That's why Shakespeare said, take arms against a sea of trouble, and in so doing, end them. Oh, I love this. I love this quote. Take arms, take weapons against the sea of trouble. Take weapons against the sea of difficulties. Take weapons against the back of challenges facing you. And in so doing, make sure you end the troubles. Make sure you stop the difficulties. Make sure you face them head on and conquer them and live your life forward. That's why you are charged today. Resolve to develop the habit of courage by behaving courageously, by doing the things you fear, by facing the losses, by dealing boldly, courageously with difficult people in your life. Deal courageously with difficult situations in your life. Face them head on and rise forward. Courageous people don't cry and pity and gather the village so that they can cry with them because they have lost this or they have lost that. Sometimes courageous people, you just share with guys in your immediate cycle, guys who will think of moving you forward, not joining you to cry. Never share your challenges with those who will help you to cry. They will destroy your, they will help you lose your most important asset, your sanity, your clarity, your vision, and the ability to start rebuilding. So the charge for you is, what actions will you take in your business? What changes will you make from today? The question is, if you had no fear of failure, if money was not the challenge, what goals will you set if you were guaranteed of success? What goals would you set for yourself, for your career, for your business, if you were guaranteed that there's no failure? Now, from the place of courage, from the place of a courageous mindset and lifestyle, set those goals and begin to go for them, because there is nothing like failure to a courageous man. It is under revision for the great things that's going to happen. It's under training, it's experience, it's rebuilding yourself for the great things ahead. Another charge for you is identify a specific fear in your life. Identify anything that you're afraid to do in your life right now. Write it down. Write your greatest fear down right now. Not in the chat box, of course. It's a private thing. Write in your notebook, in your journal right now. Write down your greatest fear right now. Write it down. If you have written, indicate in the chat box that written. If you have written your fear, biggest, if you look at your life right now, where are you right now? Like right now. Write down your one biggest fear right now. Write it down. When you have done it, come and write in the chat box that you have done. Let me tell you what to do with it. Okay, Glory is done. Rita is done. Omari is done. Sidonie is done. Brenda is done. Bosco is done. Hedwig is done. Ruth is done. Goldie is done. Bryce is done. Precious is done. Good. Many people are done. Excellent. Now, I want you from today, we already know that it's fear. And we know that there are possibilities of failure. We have agreed that. But we already know that as at today's session, you have developed the foremost virtue of dominance, which is courage. Now, after this session, I want you to develop an action plan of the steps you are going to take. You have one mission. Your mission is not to succeed. Your mission is to kill that fear. Idea, but I do some that. There are things that I've done. You know, like we boys, right? Like you see a boy chatting a girl, not because he really wants the girl, because the girl tried to show that he overdid, right? Like that's some big chap. I have friends who like to do that. John Paul, he likes to do that. Just try to show him that you're a big girl. Just trying to show him that you have made it in life. You have a car. You do this. He would ask you out on a date and get you just to show you that he can do it. That's the kind of mentality I'm talking about. This your fear. Now look at that your fear. Today, I want you to write, and this I write it. Call it confrontation plan. Write it my fear confrontation plan. After under your fear, right? Write that my fear confrontation plan, or my battle plan against fear. This is what I do. I'm telling you what I do to myself. Do me like this. I do to myself. I always write these two words. Either write it my fear confrontation plan or my battle plan against my fear. Now hear this. In this mission, I'm not doing it to achieve that goal. No, I'm doing it to intimidate fear. I want fear to be afraid of me. That's why I'm going to achieve. Now I want to have that mentality. Now after this, write down under that fear, write my battle plan against fear, or my battle plan to intimidate fear. You get the point? Good. When you have done that, write a step-by-step action. The plan, put deadline. On this day, I'll do this. On this day, let's say, for example, you're afraid to move to another country, for example, and let's say you don't have a passport. Okay, plan one, find out the information you need to make a passport. Put a date, find it out. Action number two, go and make the passport, or look for money, save, and go make the passport. Plan number three, go to the embassy to pay your transport, dress well, go to the embassy and ask how to apply for a visa into that country. Next action, start the visa application process. You get the point? So walk through like step by and do it. And there are some of you that if you do this truly, there is no fear under heavens that will ever hold you back. You see me as I'm like this? There is no fear under heaven that can hold me back. I would do it if not for the purpose of succeeding, but for the purpose of proving a point that, you see, me fear, I am not your cocoa for you to be doing anything I want to do with it. I would do it to intimidate you, fear. And when you have this kind of mentality, there is no goal, there is no mission in your life, career, and business that you would never achieve. Because you now have this battle confrontation mentality against anything that is called fear. You seriously have it. You rise up to it. So do that. And then when you do it, write this in quotes. After your topic called my battle plan against fear, under that, I want you to write this. Write this in quotes. Act as if it were impossible to fail. Write your name. If I was the one, write Joybert, act as if it were impossible to fail, end of quote. I always do this. When I write my action plan, that's always the last sentence under my page. Joybert, act as if it is impossible for you to fail. And then I set out to act as if it is impossible to fail. That's why there are many things I do. Whether people are there or not, I will do it. I'm not doing it for people. I am doing it because there's an internal battle. I am fighting with my greatness, that I need to beat that enemy of progress. Remember that we said something earlier. Let me remind you what I said earlier. Maybe you guys are not getting it now. Maybe you get the point right now. Maybe you will get the point right now. I said something earlier. And I said, the two greatest obstacles to your success and personal greatness are failure, fear of failure, and fear of criticisms. Do you get a point? So that is why sometimes there are things you do, not because you want to succeed for people, not because you want to succeed for yourself. No, you are fighting the battle of greatness inside of you. You are trying to conquer a spirit that until you beat that spirit hands down, you will always be an underperformer. You will always be an underperformer. So when you rise up to that, do that. So under your battle plan against your number one enemy towards your journey to greatness, write it down, write it. It is Erica. Say, Erica, from today, act as if it were impossible for you to fail. And so shall it be when you do that. Okay, quickly, let us round up with lifestyle of courage, the lifestyle of courage. I want to share with you 8 elements, 8 things that you start doing from today that will help you to consistently build the lifestyle of courage. 8 things. 8 things that you need to start doing from today. Adding to the other ones, not just point format. I'm just adding extra stuff. All right, let's go. Number 1, identify your strengths. Identify your strength. Yes, there's no way you can live a courageous life if you don't know your greatest strength. After this, I think I will share the link to Strength Finder. It's a free online scientific process to discover your top strength. I'll share so you guys can do and know your top strength. You become like a weapon against failure, against underperformance when you know your greatest strength. Some always make this noise that I am the best there is, the best you'll ever see. We don't make it. We don't just make the noise of the air. We know what we carry. We know the things that we can do that others cannot do. When you know your strength, you can be so courageous. You can be so, in short, you become like an AK-47 against failure. You become like a time bomb. You become like a nuclear bomb against failure itself. I want to challenge you, write your top 5 strengths. If you can communicate better than anybody else, write it down. If you know that you have this spirit of massive consistency, write it down. What are your top 5 strengths? Identify your strength. Your strength will enhance your ability to be courageous. When it comes to living a life filled with courage, it helps to begin by identifying what you're good at, identifying your top strengths. Number 2, examine different scenarios. Yes, for you to live a life of courage, adding to the things we have shared so far, learn how to examine different scenarios. Many of us get to just quit because we look only in one direction. Like some of you now, you're going through difficulty right now. And you're only looking at the difficulties. You're not looking at any other thing again. You're not looking at future possibilities. You're not looking about how your life be like in 10 years to come. No, you're only looking at the immediate situation right now that you're facing. Learn to examine different situations. I always examine my life in 3 dimensions when I'm going to a challenge. Next 5 years, next 15 years, and next 50 years. And I examine it with one thing in mind, future possibilities. Joybert, look, it's not the now. Look at who you can become in the next 5 years. Look at who you can become in the next 15 years. So whatever is happening right now, eat it for breakfast and focus on tomorrow's food. When it comes to being courageous, it is helpful for entrepreneurs, for professionals to imagine not only the worst case scenario that could happen if they take a risk, but also what would happen if they don't act at all. Do you know what would have happened if you don't act at all? Now, let me tell you how to conquer fear and become courageous in another way. When there is an action in front of you, another spirit is saying, don't act. Fear is controlling you. You get a point? Then, another one is now you need to start thinking, okay, so what do I do now? What if I don't act? How will my life be if I don't act? You'll be stuck, you'll be slow, you will not progress, you'll be a failure, you'll be a mediocre, you'll be useless, your friends will go ahead of you, you will not make a name in any industry. Those are the negative effects of not acting at all. Mm-hmm. So when you examine the two scenarios, acting and not acting, you look at the consequences of acting and that for not acting, you decide to act. Number 3, practice leaving your comfort zone. This is very important in living a courageous lifestyle. Practice leaving your comfort zone. When you let fear keep you from doing something fun or something new, and when you let fear keep you from going after something you wanted, you will never kill fear, and you will never develop courage. So what do you need to do? Practice leaving your comfort zone. Let me give you an example of basic comfort zone. For example, let us say that your comfort zone is waking up from bed at 6 a.m. You can decide and set an alarm clock to 5:30. So you can start waking up 30 minutes early. Now that's you living a comfort zone. And you set an alarm clock, you go and keep it far. Don't keep it by your bed because your bed is your comfort zone. Keep it far and put the volume so loud. Right? Now, you're going to leave the bed with your comfort zone and you're going to wake up 30 minutes earlier than your comfort zone of sleeping. Okay, for example, you don't read books at all. You can leave the comfort zone of not reading books at all and start making sure you read just 2 pages of a book every day. Just 2 pages. It could be 5 minutes. You have left the comfort zone of not reading at all to a new zone of reading at least 2 pages of any book each day for 5 minutes. And maybe that 5 minutes can become your comfort zone like after 2 weeks. You now step it up to 15 minutes. Create a new zone of operations. Okay? But you will never develop the life of courage if you're doing the same thing over and over, year in, year out. You don't leave your comfort zone. Intentionally do things to leave your comfort zone. Next, welcome failure. We spoke about this earlier. Welcome failure. To be courageous, have this mentality that failure is food for breakfast. Failure is a training ground. Failure is the preparation for the future you're looking at manifesting. It is okay to fail. But in real life, courageous people don't fail. It's either they succeed or they learn. Most people are afraid of failure, which often keeps them stagnated or stuck in the same place or the same location for years and years and years. So learn how to welcome failure. Learn how to go for failure. Do not allow failure to control your destiny. You are too big to allow failure to control you. That is why your confrontation plan against your failure, it is something you do consistently. Anytime anytime the fear of failure shows its ugly head, your next immediate thing is develop a confrontation battle plan against that fear and begin to set and begin to act as if it is impossible for you to fail. And when you act like that, so shall it be. Number 5, be disciplined. There is no way you can talk about living a courageous lifestyle without self-discipline. As I keep telling you people, discipline is doing what is required, whether you feel like doing it or not. You just have to do it. And that is what courage entails. You get it done when it must be done, whether there is certainty or uncertainty. You set out, you launch, and you get it done. Simple. You cannot talk about courage without the art of self-discipline. You must be very clear about what you want. And you must be very clear about what you don't want. and then you discipline yourself to do what is required to get what you want. Discipline is 4 o'clock, it's time to get up. Whether my body is ready or not, it is time to get up. I told you guys one time how I do this. I like to sleep by timing. I don't wake up by my body. No, I wake up by sleep. Okay, the sleeping time was 4 hours. It is 4 hours. Wake up. Whether sleep is still in your eyes or not, you have slept for 4 hours. Get the hell up. That's how I wake up. I don't wake up on how my body feels. No, I wake up based on, is it 4 hours sleep already? Okay, good. Wake up. The sleep that is still in your eyes, they can wait till the next night. Until the next night comes, it will keep waiting. Oh, as simple as that. At the same time, there are days I work for 48 hours with no sleep. I stayed also 2 days no sleep. And sleep knows at this particular point right now, your time is out. You need to give me 48 hours only to do some things. And then you can come back and do your ministry while I function my own ministry. You intentionally, you create that kind of mentality to get what you want. Number 6, one of my favorite points when it comes to living the life of courage that will produce a dominant effect in your business and career. Take responsibility. Do you want to live a courageous life? Take responsibility. Only you can change you. You must be motivated, deeply motivated, internally motivated to take responsibility. Take on new responsibilities. Look at what part of your life you have kept behind the scenes and take responsibility. Look at your office setting. What new responsibilities can you take from your boss? Ask for new responsibility. Yesterday I called one of my staff into the office, and I was asking her how work is going and all of that. And I was intentionally telling her, I want to challenge you. Ask the manager to give you new responsibilities. Don't just be comfortable doing the things that they give you since you came here. Now, step forward, because I'm looking at you. Step forward, ask for new responsibilities. And that's how you build your courage. That's how you build your leadership. That's how you build your mentality. That's how you stretch yourself. And if you are with a boss who doesn't understand that giving new responsibility to your staff members help to build their courage, they will never give it to you. Like, for example, one of the newest things I gave my manager to do was, she was the one who gave the welcome address for the PPS summit, right, and the graduation. Oh my God. The fun we had in the office. She said she's not sleeping for 2 nights. She was practicing and training to fill the big shoes, right? But the truth is that her heart has grown. Her big heart has grown now. She's now more courageous. If you put her in that same position now, it's okay now. The next challenge is, okay, maybe she address people out of the country and a big summit out of the country. Now that's different, now international. But she has been trained already. She has embarked on a step to do that. You get a point? When nothing builds your courage like taking a new responsibility. Like in business, maybe your current business is a 10 million francs business capital. Maybe that you start up another business and take it to 100 million francs. That's taking a new responsibility. Or maybe right now you buy only from within Cameroon. Okay, take on new responsibility and go to Dubai and buy from there and bring to Cameroon. Go to China, buy and bring to Cameroon. That is new responsibility. Right? It builds courage into you. What new things can you do in your direction, in your industry, in your office that can enable you to develop new responsibility? It will build you a certain level of courage that is so powerful. I will advance your life. Number 7, understand what is really holding you back. Yes. Clearly understand what is really, really holding you back. And once you have identified exactly what is holding you back, take actions to make changes. Take actions to face the obstacle of what is holding you back. There is no way you can be courageous until you have identified what you are fighting against. You can only be courageous towards something And that's why I keep telling you guys, you don't read about courage and become courageous. No, it doesn't happen like that. You do before you become courageous. Don't read about, don't listen. You cannot listen to me like that and become courageous. No. Yes, you'll be inspired, you'll be challenged. Now you know what to do to be courageous. Now go and do it. That's how you cement your courageous spirit. I'm giving you strategies. I'm giving you action steps. I'm giving you principles. I'm giving you concepts around courage. Okay, you know these things now, but that is not yet courage. You just know about courage, but you can only manifest courage when, number one, you write out your battle confrontation plan against failure and you embark on that plan without procrastinating. That is my mentees. All mentees who are here right now, before next Friday, submit to me your battle confrontation plan. I want to see very clearly. Top, I want to see the biggest fear confronting. I want to see clearly subheading my battle confrontation plan against my fear. I want to see the action plan with deadlines. Oh, okay. I want to see with deadlines. And then on that, I want to see, I am going, write your name. I, Melvis, I will act as if it were impossible for me to fail. Friday next week, I should not remind you. Okay, last point. Make challenging yourself a habit. This is one of my favorite stuff to do in building courage. I'll give you examples. Point number 8, make challenging yourself a habit. Make it a habit to challenge yourself. Make it a habit to challenge yourself. And you can make this habit in 4 key areas of your life: physically, emotionally, psychologically, and intellectually. Let me start physically. For example, I do push-ups every morning. What they call pumping, right? You get to do push-ups. So sometimes guys who do push-ups or little do push-ups, you know that if you normally do 30 push-ups, when you start getting to 20 or 25, your hands start paining and you feel like giving up. Now, for you to develop courage by using physical activity to develop the habit of courage in your life, make it, challenge yourself. Okay, yesterday you did 30 push-ups. Today, do 32. Despite the pain in your arms, despite the tiredness, push for 32. Tomorrow, take it to 35. Now, when you challenge yourself like this physically, it builds courage in your spirit. That's why if you're somebody who studies successful people, that's what inspired me to start taking indoor activities. Very important. Successful people do sports not for sport's sake. Sport helps in building mentality for dominance. Yes, it does. There's a relationship between sports and your mentality. That's why if you look at athletes, after they have retired from football, from volleyball, from basketball, from whatever, they always go and succeed a lot in business. Do you know why? They bring the attitude of dominance, the attitude of never giving up from the sport field into the business setting. The most difficult people to battle against in business are people who have been in the military or guys who have been in the sporting field. Those guys are rugged, or very rugged. That even guys that do sport and they have not been in sport, but they do sport naturally and do that, because it helps them build that mentality. So start doing sport today, not because you wanna keep fit or have a flat tummy, but also do it also because me, I'm very summarized already. So I don't even do the sport. I do sport with my mentality, not for the body. Where is the body to be doing sport with? Right? So I do it for my mentality purposes. So I challenge myself. If you are jogging around the field, if last week you used to jog 5 times around the field, this week start jogging 6 times. Right? Stretch it yourself, but with the consciousness that you are using to build courage and the ego's mentality. Emotionally, make it a habit to challenge yourself emotionally. Somebody's ranting and shouting around you, you just calm down. You intentionally keep your cool. You don't respond to their way of shouting. You challenge yourself to calm down. You challenge yourself to be the leader in the case, to be matured in the situation. You don't join even though you're hurt, but you refuse to join the person to shout. You prove to be the matured person intentionally. It builds you courage. It builds courage inside of you. Like I think Gloria was talking today about the respect to move away. You're in a relationship, they're beating you, they're disrespecting you, they're shouting at you, and all of that. You can decide and move away, walk away from that relationship. You're not walking away from something that is bad for you, but it's going to help you to build the courage, the strength of being better tomorrow. Next is psychologically. How you think, how you look at things. You challenge yourself. You make it a habit. Even though you're in a poor environment right now, but you see yourself in a rich environment. Even though you have never traveled out of the country, but you see yourself doing work in 10 countries next year. You push yourself in that dimension. It builds courage inside of you. Then one of my favorite one is what? Intellectually. Make a challenge, make it a habit to challenge yourself intellectually. This comes with reading books. One of the things that builds your courage is intellectually challenging yourself, like attending morning sessions with PPA. And that's one thing that if you look at anything PPA is during odd hours, now you guys notice that it's intentional. It is about building a new way and raising a people that can disrupt old patterns and create results at any time that they want. When you, that's what I mean, that you have become more confident waking up every day at 4 a.m. Your confidence level towards your life has changed. Has anybody noticed that? Right in the chat box, let me see. If you have noticed that the way you face life has changed, your confidence level has changed and all of that, right? Because of maybe the way you started waking up on time, you are going through coaching every morning, you're being stretched every morning with new information. Yeah, that is it. It's because you are intellectually pushing yourself. And then people who are reading and all of that, that is the same thing. It builds in you some certain level of courage. Even so, if you check carefully, even how you walk has changed. If you check, how you talk has changed. Because it's just naturally happening. Everything about you is taking a new phase. So point number 8, make it a challenge, make it a habit to challenge yourself physically, emotionally, psychologically, and intellectually. Remember, fear will rob you of your freedom to make life choices that can bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Nothing in this life, no virtue in this life will help you bridge the gap of where you are right now and to where you want to be. You need courage to bridge that particular gap. It will take courage to move from the known to the unknown path. And the price of growth, the sacrifice for growth, is courageous actions. So from today, when it comes to living a life that will go places, when it comes to building a career that will rise to the top, when it comes to running a business that will dominate in a particular industry, the ability to act in the midst of challenges and adversity will change your life. The ability to make decisions and act boldly in the face of setbacks and adversity is the key to greatness in your career and in your business. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Questions and run up.